to the Policeman's Ball, which is a fundraiser for the Dyer Police Department. I think we had 3 or 4 tables from the Chamber of Commerce and another 3 or so tables from family and friends and neighbors. During that event, there was a painter there that was trying to fundraise for the event, and what he did was he set up a spot in front with a bunch of tarps. And he started throwing paint at a paint easel, and everybody was kind of confused as to what he was doing. The unusual part about it was he was doing it like this, so nobody knew what he was creating. He was just throwing paint at the tarp. And all of a sudden, in the middle of the whole thing, he flipped it over, of course, before he wrote the words on it, and then we could tell what it is. And then he auctioned it off to everybody that was there, and I think there were about 500 people at that fundraiser. He did 2 different ones. He did this one, and he did the Hawks hockey logo. Both of them he did upside down first. And then everybody got to bid on these paintings. And I got up, and several other people got up. We all got outbid by Oscar Martinez, the Sheriff's Department. He donated the pictures back to the Dyer Police Department. Well, unbeknownst to me, one of my neighbors was also in the bidding, and after the bidding was complete, they approached the artist and asked him to create a second one so that they can buy it and donate it to the St. John Police Department. And it's the Gonzalez family. Rosa's here with her sons, and Anthony's not here, her husband. He works nights, so he's probably home sleeping. So I want to thank them very kindly for this wonderful donation, and I think you have a few words you'd like to say.
Gonzalez, nice to meet you all. We would like to donate this painting as a small token of our great appreciation to the St. John Police Department. These officers put their lives on the line every day serving our great community. And thank you again for helping to make the St. John thriving town in this wonderful day.
Item number 6, Town Council correspondence and reports. Down here? Nothing as well. All right, item number 7, public comment.
Miracles, Agora.
Miracles Agora, 10965 Italian Street. I brought pictures here 2.5 months ago of a problem. My garage side was done by a truck and a van. So everybody told me no problem would take care of it. I went to Streets and Sanitation. I asked them, what do you guys intend to do? He said, where is your proof? I said, I gave you pictures of what was done, and I had a couple neighbors to verify they saw the trucks and that going in. Their answer was, witnesses are not acceptable unless you got pictures of the day it happened and the trucks that went back there. You don't have no evidence. Goodbye. So you got the city's thing that you video cameras and everything else from now on. I just need an answer because I just walked out of there and I was so disgusted. I said I wasn't even treated that bad in Vietnam the way I was treated over there. And I'll tell you what, it hurt me deep when he said that he did not believe in witnesses.
Can I ask you again, it was our Public Works Department that you went and visited?
Yes, I went over at the Public Works. And one gentleman was there and said, I could assure you no vehicles went behind that garage. I said, well, could you do me a favor? Give me the vehicle that went back there to change Tom's meter. Maybe he did it. It was, oh yeah, that was me. I went back there, but I didn't do no damage. I said, thank you, sir, goodbye. Walked out. I had it done, got my grandson, bring a couple kids. I gave them $20, $40 between the two of them. They straightened everything out. But the treatment I got over there, I'll tell you what, like I said, I shouldn't go back in Vietnam in 1968. I was safer.
Steve, can we follow up with the employees that had the contact with?
Mirko, do you remember who you spoke with? or
Well,
not?
I was a late blonde lady and a gentleman. I thought he said was the meter man. Because he said, after I said nobody went, I said, well, who changed the meter? Give me the name. He goes,
Well, we have the meter
I went
man
there.
here.
We actually have the waterman here.
We have the water
okay,
meter
well, he
man
was the
here.
one that told me then.
Well, then,
Mr. Fundinas, did you want to make
Yeah,
a comment?
Wayne Pontinas, 87, 81, Virginia Court. You did come in the office, and you did tell us that it was my truck that ran into your lawn. Nobody, your damage is way over here. And I told you, you were right, we didn't do that. And you were very angry, yes? And the girls treated you with respect, and you were very, very angry at us. And I told you, I'm the one who puts, I drive the van, there's only one van. I drive it, I never run over your property, never did anything. If I do something to somebody's property, I'll come forward and tell them. What you're telling them is not exactly all true.
Well, then, I gotta tell a couple
This
of my
isn't the
neighbors.
forum that we can
Excuse
have-
me,
Sure.
I gotta tell a couple of my neighbors that saw the truck doing it, that they're a bunch of liars, to come here and tell you guys that they saw it.
Steve, I think, because it's my neighborhood as well,
let's say, you live across the street, I guess.
and I'm kind of thinking that as much traffic was over there with surveyors and flags, there could have easily have been a vehicle in his driveway that wasn't a town vehicle, but I think we're still responsible for it. We've got our people out there putting in flags and surveying and things like that. That's my feeling. I mean, I don't know that it was a public works truck, or it wasn't a public works truck, but I know there were plenty of other vehicles along there, and they had to park somewhere in order to mark off to the roundabout and all that other stuff.
Well, I actually did check with everybody, and nobody was out there by that time, and Mirko did say it was a public works truck, and I checked with the public works department, and obviously you heard what Wayne said. I'm kind of at an impasse here, ladies and gentlemen. If the council directs me to do something, I'll do it, obviously, but we obviously didn't do it, I don't believe. I mean, and that, if that's what, Jerry, if you guys want to, I guess Mirko had it fixed, from what I understand.
I had a couple boys, they did it, they got it fixed for me. I gave them $20 a piece to go out and have dinner or whatever they want to do. But the only thing, like I said, hurt me deep inside, when you guys told me I didn't have no evidence, I didn't have no pictures of the day it happened.
It kind of seems we're at an impasse here. We
You
have-
know what, we're gonna give it some thought about it.
Well, you can forget it, it's done, I got the kids done. The only thing I wanted you guys to know, I hope this doesn't happen to any more of my neighbors, because I know how they're gonna feel. And a couple of them, I'm gonna tell them what transpired. And I'll ask them, they might come here next meeting and say, yes, we did see the trucks. People don't wanna admit to things.
Well, I think we heard that Mr. Pondinas admitted that he drove by, but not in the area that did the damage.
It was right
Your
off
lawn.
Tom's driveway, it's only this wide, and he had to go actually on the part of my, in that wet stuff. He had to go. Oh,
Okay.
whatever.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Adrian Bagario.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Adrian Bugatti, 11747 West 90th Avenue. I would like to ask the President Town Council member to revoke the license or whatever it is of the sweat now, and also David Auction to operate as attorneys. David Auction falsified the date, and from the moment I mentioned to the Town Council, I was told that he left. But he belongs to that. He comes in December, the first meeting, intimidation and threats. February, I get kicked out because Beth Hernandez and the client. Thank you very much. But the law firm of David Auction must go out. $130,000 for 6 months to commit perjury and put me out of business. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Jack Sachs.
Saks 9458 East Oak Ridge Drive. I live right by the park, Prairie West, and there was a fireworks display when Santa Claus came back in November or December. Debris from the fireworks show is still there. Well, I still find pieces of it. It was 6 months, and I think that's a little bit long. And as far as the pond that goes over there, in there, it's the worst I've ever seen in my life.
The worst the pond's been in since you've been there?
In that, at Prairie West Park.
Steve, can we have someone go check out the trash of the fireworks and to see if we need treatment in them?
Yeah, Jack,
I talked to Chip.
yeah, I mean, the pond, we had not stopped raining for a month and a half, and we pay McNamara Aquatic to treat the ponds. But when you constant rain and constant turnover, it doesn't go good. So we do have that on a maintenance schedule though, Jack.
Okay,
So McNamara Aquatic, you'll see an airboat going in there. I mean, he's hired to do it, so.
I have some friends that go over there to fish all the time, and they haven't been able to fish this year because of the algae.
So, well, and again, McNamara Aquatic is the town's contractor, that is contract to take care of that, Jack. So he will be, if he hasn't been out there because of the rain, excessive rain puts him back. So.
Okay, I just want to bring up, but
Sure.
the debris from that fireworks show should not have been in that park for 6 months.
Did Public Works go out after the park to check for debris?
They typically do. I don't know if it got in Jack's yard or not.
No, it wasn't in my yard, it's just debris in the park.
Well, I mean, it's possible they could have missed something, but
Oh, no. I'm sorry, I'm not being rude, but it was that excessive.
What will happen?
we'll have to check it
Can
out.
we get it out?
Sure, absolutely, yes.
Take a look at it?
It's clean, I don't know if it's all, but it took 6 months for it to go.
So it is cleaned up now, Jack.
For the,
Oh,
this
okay.
part of it, it is now.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Brian Blazak?
Brian Blazak, 9299 Franklin Drive. This evening, I only have two simple questions. Residents have asked me over the last several weeks how the town manager, who's an employee of the town, can make the decision to drop the penalty for no business license owed by one of his 5 bosses. Shouldn't that be decision voted on by the entire town council? Question 2, why do we need to hire another attorney? We have attorneys upon attorneys billing us thousands of dollars every month. When is enough going to be enough?
Good evening, everyone. Paul Panzik, 8410 Magnolia Street. Just 2 items. I'm going to mirror his comments about the attorney. I'm curious if there's more litigation expected. What's the attorney for? We have an attorney here that's qualified. And again, we'd like to know the background on that because we are spending a lot of money on attorney's fees. Second would be, my second item I'd like to inquire about, and maybe this will be explained better when it comes up, is item 8A with the additional appropriations. There seem to be quite a few line items for the police department. I'd like to know if that was within their budget or if this is in excess of their budget because it added up to a whole lot of dollars and cents. So I'm curious as to why there's the additional appropriations for that. Thank you.
Ed Kahn?
Good evening, Ed Kahn, 9227 West 91st Court. President Barony, I stand here in front of you and your council members tonight as a resident, speaking on behalf of myself. Everything that I brought forward to this council over the past few months has been legitimate, documented evidence. The number one concern I have right now, it was touched on earlier, is Ms. Hale's operation of a business within the town limits for a number of years when she was not in compliance. When that was approached, it was turned over. First, we were told, oh, she didn't qualify. A week later, Rose has got, is there a reason you're recording me? Can I stop for a minute and record her as well? That's how this is gonna work.
It's
being recorded.
It's gonna be recorded on here, so.
So anyway, I approached the building department, inquired about the fines, if any were levied against her. I was then informed that no, there were no fines issued. And in the 2.5 years that the gentleman running that department said that he's never issued fines. And that was backed up by Steve Gill, who claims in the 18 years that he's been here, no fines have been levied. So if that is the case, which I hadn't done, it is, why do we have these codes on the book? When residents, I have to apply for dog tags every year. If I don't apply for them, somebody's at my house, I get fined. With the way this transpired over the last 2 months and leading into this election, I'm asking that the council sits down, talks about it, and I'm asking for the removal of Councilwoman Hale from this council based on her actions as a business owner. Secondly, this is directed at Chief Kaviten. Ever since I've become vocal with this town and have brought forward issues, both the way of his treatment towards those underneath him, towards the treatment of residents, and including myself, in conjunction with Mr. Jorgensen, who's not here tonight, otherwise I would address him as well. I'm a private resident that has been singled out. My family and myself have been embarrassed over social media, over newspaper print, on issues of my life from 32 years ago that have nothing to do with what's transpired in this town. I have your little reserve IT boy. If he's gonna follow me around and take pictures of me, you better tell him that you better learn that people can follow him back. When I follow him back behind the police station and get pictures of him. It needs to stop. You need to quit harassing me. You need to quit messing with my family. And if it doesn't end, then I will take it to the next step.
Mr. Gunn, we're past our.
That's fine, I'm done.
Thank you. All right, agenda item number 8. This is resolution number 2019-0523A, a resolution for additional appropriations. Mr. Swedman, are the proofs of publication in order? Go.
I know the proofs of publication are in order, yes.
Thank you. Any opening remarks, maybe possibly give a little detail behind some of the purchases?
Well, the probably the biggest one, and I mean, I guess Paul was asking about this, but one of the largest ones is for the last community crossing grant project. We just finished that. We need to make sure that we don't have any negative balances and we zero out the account. So that would be probably one of the biggest ones. LECE, Paul, are you listening? So you, okay. I just can't see you back there, I'm sorry. LECE is Law Enforcement Continuing Education. Rather than use money out of the operating budget for training and things like that for the police department, it's better to use the LECE money because it's specifically designated for that purpose. So that then will be used for training for our police officers. Forfeiture and seized assets, it's only $5,000 there. That's again to just buy equipment. The special revenue account, we are guessing that $40,000 will come in this year. Again, that's a cash-based account. They can only spend what cash is received in, and this will resolve the traffic program and things like that. Money is distributed back from the town, from the county. So again, a cash account. We're guessing towards the end of the year, projecting $40,000 will come in. So we're going to appropriate that. TIF capital fund, This one's pretty self-explanatory. We just issued a TIF bond for $5.5